review Absolute Counter, Episode 3.
No Crash, the end.
Hey guys, this is Magus.
And this is Darkscream.
How goes it, buddy?
It's been a pretty chill week. I've been just finishing up Our World Has Ended. At least I got some of the routes done, but I'm ready to move on to the next VN, which is World End Syndrome. Completely different game, completely different genre. And I've played a little bit of that, which is very interesting. I don't know how I feel about the character designs so far. They feel kind of weird and lanky, and their eyeballs are always looking a little stretched, but the artwork in the game is actually really good. The background
Except
art
for the eyeballs.
Yeah, except for the eyeballs. But
Yeah,
the background art is great because they actually animate the backgrounds. It's not just a still image. Like, the game opens with your main character on a train, and it actually shows like the animation of the train moving with trees passing by and shadows hitting the evening sky. It's so that's impressive already. I'll see I'll see how it is when I continue more of that game. But also, last week I saw Detective Pikachu.
How was that? I saw a movie too, but a different one. I'll tell you about it after you talk about Detective Pikachu, though.
You know, the bar for video game film adaptations is so goddamn low.
That's true.
At that point, I'll almost take what I can get. And while the story to Detective Pikachu is pretty damn flawed, I will say it's a Pokemon movie. It's Pokemon. If you played the games, if you've seen the anime, you're going to know what's going on. You're going to like it. You're going to recognize some Pokemon in the background. And Ryan Reynolds was pretty damn solid. He was carrying that whole damn film. He was great as Pikachu. Most of the other actors, they're all right, except for this female journalist character who was basically playing a caricature of a noir journalist. Like, when her introduction scene was like, made me kind of groan a little because it was.
Was she the love interest too?
Yeah.
Okay, I figured you knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious, but whatever. But the film was very entertaining if you were at all familiar with Pokemon. And I'm not really a huge Pokemon fan anymore, but I was still pretty entertained.
I like Pokemon, but my fandom, I've explained this, pretty much goes down to mostly just the main core games. I get excited when a new core main game is announced, hence Sword and Shield, which I'm pumped for. But spin-offs, the anime, everything else, I'm not big into. The only thing that I've gotten outside of the core games was Pokemon Go, which I play every now and then, and that's pretty fun. But other than that, and the movie looks good.
I'm kind of the opposite, actually. I play mostly the spin-off games like Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Stadium,
Okay.
Pokemon Puzzle League and Puzzle Challenge. And I even picked up one of the first games I picked up on the Switch was Pokken Tournament.
I haven't played Pokken Tournament. That one is one I would play.
It's all right. I just like the fact that there's a Luchador Pikachu in the game, so that's pretty fun.
Hey, you could play as that Pikachu in Smash Brothers too.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
And it turns out that Pikachu is female.
Oh, well, yeah, that's fine.
Apparently, it's determined by the shape of their tails, and the female Pikachu's always have heart-shaped tails or something. At least that's what I think. I don't know. My knowledge on Pokemon is very blurred and faded.
I gotcha. That makes sense.
All right. So, what movie did you see?
I saw John Wick 3.
Yeah, I heard great things about it.
It's the best one.
Oh,
I think it's the best one.
I have still yet to see the first two.
You should watch them. They're awesome. They're awesome movies. The whole trilogy is cool. And I like the ending, and I'll tell you why I like the ending without spoiling it. Because they said this was going to be the last one, but the way it ended, it's not going to be the last one.
So are they setting up for like a new character in the same universe or something? I guessed that on the mark, didn't I?
Yeah.
Right.
No. It's not the last one. Let's leave it at this. Fuck, how can I say this? Can we just do a spoiler warning?
The movie's fairly new.
Shit. You put
And
me in a hard spot, Darkscream.
I guess I'll find out when I get around to seeing it. Not sure when, but I'll get around to seeing it.
Let me put it this way. John Wick is not done, and I don't mean the title or the film franchise. We'll leave it at that.
Ah, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay. But it's not the answer you expected, though.
No, not really, because I didn't know what to expect.
So I want to talk about something really quick, and it's more of a warning than divulging any of it, because everyone's gone over it and we've all done it. Lately, some YouTube drama has erupted with that Pro Jared guy, right?
Yeah, I followed.
I followed too. Now, I'll tell you my personal opinion. I never liked Pro Jared. His videos sucked ass. They're typical gaming bullshit. He came up as a smug motherfucker, and I just didn't like the dude. He was one of those like preppy nerd kids that I used to go to school where they would like Star Wars, but they would look down on you for playing D&D.
Yeah, I never cared for him either. I think I only saw like one video of his, but he wasn't worth subscribing. Basically anyone from the normal Boots crew that wasn't JonTron, I didn't really care much about.
I don't even like JonTron myself, but that's
I still like JonTron. He doesn't even do game reviews anymore. He just does like weird random videos about other things. Like he did a video about New Hampshire, and I thought that was still entertaining and hilarious.
Gotcha. Well, for me, I never liked them, and I don't. You know my preference. I don't really like the whole video game humor thing, because most of those guys are not funny, including Pro Jared, right?
Right.
Yeah, none of those guys are funny. It's like, oh, I'm playing Mortal Kombat, but let me go get a sandwich, and then it shows a guy making a sandwich. It's so stupid shit like that. I fucking hate that. But
I only would allow that if it was to prove a point. And there was like a video, a little bit unrelated. I'm going on a tangent, but there was like a video on Sonic Forces complaining about the difficulty and how easy that game is. There was a moment in the game where the character literally put down the controller and he was making a sandwich because the game was going on autopilot. The characters were moving, but he wasn't moving the controller or anything. And they weren't getting hit with obstacles, and he's still putting peanut butter on that sandwich. And that tells me, yeesh, that game sucks. Anyways.
I suppose so, but still just not my cup of tea regardless if it has a point. Even I like more straight, because you know me, I'm straight. That's why I've always liked your videos. You're straightforward, you know what I mean? Yeah, and that's why I like stuff like Gaming Historian or what Wrestling with Gaming or things like that, you know. There's a few other channels, but that's back to the point. The point is a lot of fans. Here's the thing about the Pro Jared thing. I could give two fucks about him cheating on his wife, right?
Right. Okay.
That's the least important. What bothers me is the whole soliciting minors shit.
Now, I don't want to, because there hasn't been official solid confirmation, dude.
Like, there has been.
So there's a news article saying that police knocked on his door and arrested him.
That's the thing, not police, but here's the thing. There have been, and they're hard to find because I looked for them yesterday, but if you watch some of the videos that came out prior to it, and I saw them when they released, but they got, I guess they got removed for whatever reason. There are text messages, pictures of text messages of him talking to minors, and them explicitly in those text messages, in those screenshots, them saying, I'm 16, I'm whatever. You know what I mean?
And you say they were screenshots.
Yep. Now,
as
here's
much
the
as
thing.
I want to believe that, and as much as I want to believe you, those can easily be doctored.
Oh, I know they can, but here's the thing, and I'm not saying, but here's the thing.
Yes.
No, I'm trying to get my words. Hold on.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say here is, when it comes to these type of cases, and there's there's been a bunch of people who've come forward. The thing is, you got to be careful, because sometimes people want money, whatever, you know. I'm not the guy who, I'll clarify, I'm not a guy who always sides in with the victim. Does that make sense? And you know that about me, right?
I don't always side with the victim either. I have to look at I have to find irrefutable proof.
Okay. There's two cases that came out this year that I can say. The R.
Oh,
Kelly shit.
okay.
Hold on. Hold
That's
on. Let
one
me
of
just
them
say
I
this.
don't want you to talk about.
You don't. No, I'm just gonna say a sentence
Okay.
about each one. R. Kelly one, I believe.
Okay.
Michael Jackson, I don't believe.
Okay, that's fair enough.
That's what I wanted to say. Because it just some things are fishy in there. I'm a good guy. I'm good at spotting holes. I don't see any holes. Now, I'm also on the thing to think that I do believe that the wife in the Pro Jerry thing, she's a scumbag too. I don't like her either. So that's my whole opinion. I just don't think. My opinion is I think he's guilty as fuck, and that might be a little biased because I don't like the guy, but I there's ample evidence, and the thing that two things that bothered me: Wizards has not let him go totally from their streaming. Wizards has not said anything. Wizards of the Coast, I'm talking about, because he does a show on there with them, right? And that's why I never watched the show because he was on there, and I hate him. And number two, what was the number two thing? The number two thing is the most important thing. Be careful with your YouTubers, right?
Right.
Okay, this is what I really want to talk about. It's one thing to be a fan, but if a YouTuber ever asks you for nudes, don't fucking send it, please. That's kind of on you too.
Don't get theirs, and vice versa. Don't get theirs either.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. You don't really, and this applies to you and I. You really don't know who you're talking to. They don't really know us, right?
Right. I mean, we kind of been burned by that before.
Oh, we've been really badly burned by that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I told you I wouldn't bring it up because you don't like talking about it.
Oh no, I don't like him, and yeah, it is uncomfortable talking about him. But I know, but it is an example, and it is a mistake that we've learned from.
Fucking Mr. Anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. Billy and I, or Darkscream and I, my bad.
It's fine.
We talked to this guy. Right?
Right. Yeah. Well, I've chatted with him on text a few times. I haven't chatted with him as much as I have with you, or even Gmo or Hardy. But
let's
I've
talk about that group.
Guy.
Or Anime Overviewer.
Anime Overview, yeah. I've communicated with him a lot back when he was around. Now he's disappeared.
Speaking of JMO, real quick, this is a lighthearted thing. He just had a kid.
Oh, congratulations, Gmo, if you're listening to this.
Yeah, I don't know if he is. I'll contact him, but congrats. Yeah, I'll contact him though. I know where to reach him. But yeah, congrats on him. He just had a kid, so that's good. I always liked Justin. Justin was a good dude. But that was kind of the original community: was Anime Overviewer, myself, JMO, Mr. Anime, Grumpy G-san. Grumpy G-san, I heard passed away though. But
I think he did.
Yeah. That was kind of the original community. And then I remember when you're the one who told me what Mr. Anime did. You told me immediately you need to get him.
This is how I found out. I was at my anime club. Just visiting for a typical meeting. But now, a couple of months prior, I made a video response to him talking about underrated anime, and I had a lot of fun recording that because I was doing this aggressive ass persona that's kind of like based off of wrestling promos back in the day when they would just scream at the microphone, like stuff like Scott Steiner and shit. Because I thought that would be a lot of fun. A lot of people liked it. I showed it off on my club one day, and everyone found it funny. Now, a couple of months later, my president and friend goes, "Hey, Billy, have you seen this?" He pulls me over to the side and shows me the news article. And my jaw hit the floor. I had to leave the club. And that's when I notified you, Overviewer, Hardy, Gmo, via YouTube private messaging what he did.
Oh, and Taco Crave.
Yeah, I think I did. I think I messaged.
No, I contacted Otaku Crave.
Yeah. So, and that part just because I like I said, even though I've only chatted with him on Skype text for a few times, there were no red flags on that.
No, there was.
I just saw him as like an aspiring filmmaker and an otaku who just liked to review anime. Did not know that he was a fucking twisted Columbine sympathizer.
No,
and like, fuck those people.
And here's the other thing too. I've talked to him on Skype, voice to voice. There was nothing wrong. The only thing that maybe could have raised red flags was he talked about guns once in a while, but not shooting people, just guns. Remember, he's a Texan.
Yeah, I mean, I've had friends and coworkers who were hunters who like to go gaming, and they talk about guns most of the time. Nah, nothing problematic there. But like, I'm from the South, so.
But just here's the thing: don't trust any YouTubers. I mean, and I'll admit, people have sent me shit, especially in the old days. They would send me stuff, but even at this day and age, it's better to kind of. There's people I'm friends with, like you and Xander and Black Metal Gamer, Retro Bro, and Bio Phoenix, et cetera, and Down Phoenix and all those guys. And I'm close. I know those guys, and I know you on a personal level too, for the most part.
Yeah.
But if you're watching a big YouTuber that has like 300,000, he never speaks to you, but then suddenly asks you for things, something's fucking up.
Yeah, I think the fame just goes through their head. Power corrupts, even if it's just a small amount.
Yeah, I mean, there's people who have 20,000 subscribers and they think they're hot shit, and they're not. They're not. You're still on the bottom of YouTube. I still have close to 5,000, and I'm on the bottom of the heap. I know that. That's a lot, but it's not a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all I got to say on that. And I have one last thing I want to ask you that's lighthearted, and then we can get into our topic real quick.
Because this got dark real fast, but
yeah,
that's fine. That's fine.
Okay. So do you have anything else to say about it?
No, just God, I just never understood the concept of nudes and dick pics. Just no.
Yeah, I have. I'm. Yeah, that's not my cup of tea either. Anyway, let's talk about AEW for a moment. Did you hear the big news?
All Elite Wrestling?
Yeah.
No. What happened?
Okay, so remember the Monday Night Wars from the 90s, right? WCW.
Yeah. In fact, I was listening to an audiobook called The Death of WCW, which tackles the Monday Night Wars for most of it.
Okay, WWE.
WWF back then, yeah.
Yeah. Anywho, what happened is that competition, that Monday Night Wars, maybe not exactly the Monday Night Wars, it's reignited again, and it came full circle because it was announced that All Elite Wrestling made a TV deal with Time Warner,
okay,
to be on their channel. You won't believe this. This is the coolest part. They're going back on TNT.
That sounds crazy and a little bit nostalgic pandering, and I want this to work because WWE, the reason why I've been hating them so much and the reason why they've been a bit stagnant is because they haven't had any genuine competition since the Monday Night Wars. And I would like for this to happen, but I'm afraid it may not succeed because TNA tried this before, like 9 years ago, and it was a Good Girl Award. It was a huge flop.
But remember, there is a echelon of cable channels, as you know, right?
Right.
The higher, more, I'm not respected necessarily, but the top tier channels are those that come on pretty much every cable basic package. So that's your USA's, your Discovery channels, etc. TNT is one of those. It's number 2 of those channels, right behind USA. So that's good news.
Good.
Yeah. The other thing is the talent that they have gotten for this. I mean, they stole Chris Jericho from WWE.
Yeah,
that's a good start.
And isn't All Elite Wrestling Cody Rhodes' baby or something?
Yeah, it is his baby. It's him. The main ones are these 2 billionaires. I think Jericho's one of the consultant. Brandy Rhodes, who is Cody Rhodes' wife, is one of them. And then the other one is Kenny Omega, who is fucking awesome.
Kenny
and
Omega
needs more.
Is pretty awesome.
Hey, his fucking finishers he's a Final Fantasy fan. You knew that, right?
He's a hardcore gamer. Like there was the first thing I saw from him was that he did on a little ragdoll. He did the final atomic buster.
Yeah.
He loves video. Like I believe his gimmick was that he was like an otaku or something.
Well, not only that, but he's a huge Final Fantasy fan. He's a hardcore Final Fantasy fan. His finisher is called One Winged Angel.
Nice.
So he's going to get more exposure. They have a lot of great people. Rumor is that Dean Ambrose he left WWE, and that's the thing that's interesting because I follow wrestling a lot. I listen to it a lot of podcasts. I try to listen to more podcasts than I watch it because Raw's just not very good.
Same. I listen to Jim Cornette's podcast.
That's a good one.
I go to YouTube and look at shoot interviews, all that. Like, I love learning about the business. Because the business itself is very fascinating. But when it came to the actual wrestling shows, especially on WWE, I just really don't care all that.
Have you listened to the Conrad Thompson podcasts?
No, I haven't.
You need to. He started with a guy named Bruce Pritchard, who was a WWE, one of the heads. He's back with WWE now because of that podcast. What they do is they cover a topic from the history and they just dissect it.
Okay,
So he's got 4 podcasts. He just started his 4th one. The first one is with Pritchard. The second one was with WCW announcer Tony Schiavone.
That's okay, cool.
The third one is my favorite because you may not like him, but it's probably the most interesting to me is with Bischoff, Eric Bischoff.
I have a love-hate relationship with Bischoff.
Okay, that's a really good one. He started the 4th one with current AEW. I don't know if you know this. He's the announcer for AEW now, Jim Ross.
Yeah, I'm looking the personnel right now. They got JR. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
and
just hope they learn from the mistakes of Eric Bischoff and Vince Russo and the stuff from the death of.
Oh, don't Vince Russo that guy.
Oh, I'm on that particular chapter in that book too.
Oh, but yeah. Listen to those 4 podcasts. I'll give you the names eventually, but you'll love them. They dissect. Warning though, some of them are very long. Some of them can last to 4 hours.
That's fine. I listen to podcasts that go on for hours on end.
But
I just take breaks between them.
But
just when I'm on the road.
The less you know, the Pritchard one is the longest running. So there's about over 150 episodes of that. There's about 100 episodes of Giovanni. The Bischoff podcast's been around since April of last year, so they're over the 50 mark. And then the JR one, they're on only like episode 3 or 4.
Interesting. All right.
But so that's that. I thought you should check. I'll give you the names afterwards.
All right. Anything else to add?
No, I just wanted to talk about All Elite Wrestling. Are you going to check it out? Are you going to watch the first episode?
I'm going to see if I can catch some matches or the first episode. I don't know if I can catch it. I barely watch cable. That's the thing. So.
Yeah, I don't have cable either, but I might see if I can find a way to watch
it. I do want to keep its eye on it, and I really hope it does very well because, like I said, wrestling just needs to be it needs to go back to those glory days, man.
Yeah. And one last thing, WWE has a history of when it does face competition, it's good at adapting. So I'm not saying I want WWE to fail. I'm saying if AEW kicks ass, that will make WWE evolve into something better than it is now.
And if it doesn't, then hey, at least we got a new wrestling promotion to root for.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a win-win situation here if this goes well.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so
go ahead.
I was
going to say before we move on to the next topic, hold on, I gotta pull this up. We need to talk about a news topic. Now we're not gonna go through many news topics, but I want to talk about how the Nintendo Switch has outsold the PS4 in its hometown.
Damn.
Yeah. So I'm reading off of Niche Gamer. And apparently, it was shared on Famitsu. The latest weekly Famitsu has shared the latest hardware and software sales figures for the Japanese market for the 2 weeks ranging from April 29th to May 12th, 2019. The biggest number to take away here is the Nintendo Switch finally outselling the PS4 in Japan roughly 2 years after the Switch launched in Japan. The Switch has sold an estimate of 8 million units in Japan, surpassing the PlayStation 4's estimated life sales of 8,077,000. Apparently, it's Switch is 8,125,000. PS4 is roughly 8,077,000. Um, that's awesome. That's great. That, and I am actually rooting for Nintendo a little bit because I'm still not fond with how Sony's been handling things as of late. I've already talked about it the previous two episodes. I don't want to go into it any further. But what are your thoughts on it?
I'm not. I've never been a big follower of sales or anything. So my whole take on it is that's cool that Nintendo really made a comeback with the Switch. Well, I'm not saying they were down because here's the thing: people think Nintendo was dying or something. They've always had success with their handhelds, and they had success with the Wii. People tend to forget the Wii because it was for a more casual audience. But what I think the Switch did is it combined two things. It got back to gamers like you and I.
Yes.
And it was a console and handheld, and they've known how to do handheld so goddamn well.
Yes, I agree.
And I think that's the key thing.
Now, if only their core IP games would actually go on sale digitally more often, because I've been wanting to pick up Mario Kart 8 and it's still $60. And even if I were to go buy it secondhand at a GameStop, it will still only be like $5 difference. I'm like, well, what would be the point by then?
Right.
Yeah. They have this weird deal now where if you have a Nintendo Switch Online membership, you get a digital voucher for like $100, and that will let you buy 2 different games. So you save, well, you don't even save $20 if you just count the $20 from the Switch membership. It was announced during the Nintendo Direct stream when they were focusing on Super Mario Maker 2.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Like, on one hand, I would like to save $20, and I do buy games digitally more than physically, but it still doesn't sound like that.
You know what Nintendo could do, and it's still rumored. What? They could add some Super Nintendo games.
Yeah.
Yeah, because let's be honest, I like the NES stuff, but Clue Land. Let's talk about that lineup real quick. Clue Land. What the?
Yeah, I played like 2 minutes of it. Stopped giving a shit. Donkey Kong Jr. I wasn't really that big into, but that's probably the best entry they had there. And they also had Versus Excite Bike, which was apparently a Famicom exclusive, and it was fun to play for a little while. But it's okay. It wasn't as strong as the last couple of months.
Here's the other thing too about the Switch. One thing Nintendo did, a lot of people aren't giving credit. Nintendo, for whatever reason, has not released arcade ports of a lot of their classic games until the Switch. The direct arcade ports,
like Punch-Out, the original. Punch-Out.
The original Punch-Out is a totally different game.
Yeah, when you play as Wireframe Guy.
Yeah, not Little Mac.
Not Little Mac.
Yeah,
that was in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
And then they had the arcade ports, which, the only way you could play those, as far as I know, was main of Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr.
Yeah, cool.
So there you go. But those games came out before a certain crash, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they did. I was just I was fact-checking. I was like, no way, it came. No. Nintendo was still around before the crash. And yeah, the crash was probably a dark time, but Nintendo did come in to save the day, and it was a golden age gaming for for like a decade, maybe 2, especially in the 80s and 90s. And apparently people want that to happen again. They want another crash to happen, and I asked them why. Why would you want that?
Because they're idiots.
Harsh words. Keep going.
Here's why they're idiots. One, you and I have talked about this, and probably on the show, and we've talked about this many times, that this is probably one of the best gens of gaming.
Yes.
And there is a lot of stuff coming out. And there is a lot of shovelware shit. Florence! But anyway, sorry, I had a cough there. There's a lot of shovelware shit, Everyone's away. Oh, I'm sneezing again. Firewatch shit. A lot of games that aren't games.
I'm getting sick too. Go on home.
Oh shit! Whatever happened Dude, that Edith bitch. I don't know.
Oh, that's free for PlayStation, PSN this month.
I know, but I doesn't look interesting, and I know
No.
a certain former friend, now enemy, that loves that game. He can fuck himself. Anyway, I'm just gonna. Well, we really did well on that, didn't we?
Anyways,
anyway,
you did a video about this a long time ago, but it's deleted. Do you have that archived?
maybe
Okay.
because a guy that I know, I'm not going to mention his name, he said that he wanted a video game crash to happen. Why? There's so much good stuff out there. And here's the thing. We talked about this a couple shows ago. Last gen, we didn't really care for because it was boom, bang, bang shooters, right?
Yeah.
That was the gaming media. They were so fucked up that they promoted that. That's all you saw. This gen is a whole different story. There is literally quality JRPGs, quality FPSs, quality platformers, quality beat 'em ups, quality of pretty much every genre you can think of.
Yeah. If you're like, oh, I could use a Metroidvania, do you know how many indie developers have been making Metroidvanias now for the past
Oh
couple
my
of
god.
years?
There's Guacamelee and Axiom Verge and just stuff. You want platformers? Fuck, there's a lot of those.
Oh yeah, Shantae, Half Genie Hero. There's a new Shantae game coming out.
Oh yeah.
There's also the earlier Shantae games. You can play those. Shovel Knight.
The Messenger.
Yeah, The Messenger. Like, if a crash were to happen, it won't go as smoothly as you think will happen. It's going to hurt the smaller guys too. And what country would save us then? Like, the reason why Nintendo did so well post crash was because they weren't even aware that existed.
Well, here's the thing about the crash. You got to remember, the problem with the crash was there was no indies. The problem with the crash was there was limited technology. There weren't that many consoles, right?
Right.
Now, technically, there are 3 consoles, but there's so many platforms out there now that aren't just consoles. There's phones, computers, whatever, right?
Right.
And you can throw games onto all of those. There's so many tablets, even, there's just so many things that you can throw games on. Back then, you only had a couple consoles, and then you had stupid asses. This is my favorite one. Companies starting to go into gaming, starting to have game divisions that shouldn't, i.e. Alpo, the dog food company.
Wow.
Yeah, you know about that? Alpo made a game. It's some fucking dog food game.
Wow, that sounds dumb.
It is dumb. But yeah, Alpo and a bunch of other companies that shouldn't did it. And then there's stuff like, they were mass producing these terrible games. E.T.'s the big one. We all know that. The Pac-Man 2600 fucking cartridge. We know that one. And that Pac-Man port is awful. Yeah. But remember, they were limited in what they had. And then there was arcades too. Arcades, you got to remember, they couldn't get all these games either. They were limited, right?
Right.
But nowadays, even though arcades are still around, they're not dead. And they still make new games for them.
Yeah, they do. It's just weird because most of those arcade games, despite their quality, they still look like they came from the Dreamcast era. Like, there's a Batman driving arcade game, right?
Oh yeah, that's in my town actually. I played it.
Yeah, and it's like it's cool, and aesthetically, I think it was supposed to mimic the Arkham games, but you can actually choose a different style Batmobile depending on which era, like from Adam West all the way to like Dark Knight Rises with the hover car thing. And it's just like, man, this looks like it was still made in 1999, but there's a charm to it because they're trying to put like more emphasis on like not like hardware power, because consoles and PC gaming have surpassed arcades in that regard. But like, the controls and technology and anything you can do innovation that you can't do at home.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to tell you this too. Xander showed this to me. Did you know there was a new arcade Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles beat 'em up?
I've heard about it from another podcast way back when. I haven't seen it.
He showed me pictures of it. It exists, and it's not that old.
Yeah, I heard it's based off of the 2012 CG series.
Mm-hmm. and it has it plays much like, I guess, the whatchamacallit.
Turtles in Time.
Yeah, and all those. But
I hope it. I
but
hope that machine's there because I live 20 minutes away from I don't know if you ever heard this restaurant chain, Dave and Buster's.
oh yeah, I know Dave and Buster's. Yeah.
Well, the best part is Dave and Buster's is right next door to a hotel that hosts a convention that I went to last year and I'm going to again this year. So probably Saturday evening I'm gonna have dinner there and hang out. They have like so many crazy arcade machines. Like they made a Time Crisis. Oh god, what are they on? 6, 5?
Jesus.
I
Well,
can't remember.
Sega's
I
still
can't
making
remember the
arcade
late.
games. So
Yeah,
is Namco.
there was like a Rampage game, a classic Rampage game, but it's designed to be like that Dwayne Johnson movie.
Oh wow.
There was a Halo 4-player rail shooter game. Yeah, there were still these new machines that still wowed me the same way they would have wowed me 20 years ago when I went to the local arcade at my mall. I mean, they're very scarce and they are picky and choosy where to go, but they're still there.
Yeah. But I don't think arcades are going to suffer a lot of games. But remember, everyone has a fucking cell phone, though, going back to my point.
There's a Luigi's Mansion rail shooter game.
Okay, I've heard of that.
I forgot to mention that. And there was also this other game that was like those sit-down booth box arcade machines?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like one for this like survival horror game. I forgot what it was called, but it was actually legit fucking scary. Like the way they utilized the sounds and some of its moments, like the vibration on the controllers, it really did. Ooh, even though I was like in a public place, I still wanted to run out screaming at one point.
Yeah. I mean, they make arcade games out of anything. Like a couple years ago, I went to LA, Los Angeles, 2017. And they had a Final Fantasy theater rhythm game.
Sweet.
Arcade game. So there you go. But what I'm saying is arcade games are they're pretty picky of what they have. What I'm trying to say here is back then, though, they were limited in what they had in the arcades, right? And on consoles, they can afford to release all of these games now because they're either designed for that platform or some of them don't cost much money.
That's right. And I know some people are going to be pointing out, but what about Anthem? But what about Rage 2? Well, I remember a friend of mine back in high school.
What about Rage 2? I haven't heard much. I know one of my friends really likes it.
I've seen some clips, and the game looks like it's a 6 out of 10. There's some bugs here and there. Apparently the shooting is fun, but the open world isn't that great. That's the general consensus I've heard from here and there. I don't know any full reviews, but it doesn't look like a game I want to pick up right away. That's just me. But like, yeah, those are big budget games. And
yeah, it's probably when I will pick it up.
They've overspent it, and they haven't been QA tested thoroughly. But usually, here's the thing: a friend of mine from high school, we would discuss video games all the time at our lunch breaks.
Right.
And I remember one thing he said, and it probably stuck with me subconsciously, which is how I pretty much have my taste in video games now. He says, don't always follow the hype.
Right.
Like, just because a game is excited, just because a bunch of people are excited for this game, doesn't mean you need to be excited for it particularly. And I kind of slowly learned my lesson about that with Halo 2. And since onward, I mean, there are some games that do have a lot of people excited for that I'd be excited for, like Resident Evil 2, the remake, because I grew up with that game.
Right.
There are games that the general consensus would be excited for, like Anthem, and I'm just kind of like, mostly because I follow most gaming news and stories, and I hear some stuff, some dumpster fires, some warning signs. But I have my own particular tastes, and as a result, there are like too many fucking games coming out in the next couple of months that it's hard for me to keep track. I conducted a list of games that are coming out as late as August. I haven't even touched the holiday season, just to give you guys an idea of just what games are worth looking forward to, at least for me. Maybe some of our audience would agree with my list. I don't know if you made that list or not.
I made that list, but I only have 3 games because I'm super picky.
Okay, well, you're super picky. I'm not.
Okay. So you want me to do my list real quick?
Oh,
Because
sure.
it's okay. I'm just gonna run it down, and I'm not gonna explain why because it's self-explanatory.
Okay, go ahead.
Trails of the Sky, Chapter 2. That's obvious. Number 2, Mario Maker 2. Number 3, Judgment Eyes. The end.
Okay, I have like a log of list of games I need to pick up that have already been released, but I haven't released. These are games that are just coming soon by the time I record this.
Okay.
So I haven't even touched that because I still need to get Trails in the Sky Part 3. Uh, I just forgot about Trails of Cold Steel 2 because that's coming out June 4th.
Yeah.
But here's my list. So, and most of it is Switch. I think only like 1 to 3 is for PS4. Kotodama, The Seven Mysteries of Fujisawa. That's like a weird honey pop ish puzzle game. I'm curious. The game's premise that was on the Switch kind of sold me on it. So, and it's only $30, so I want to pick that one up.
Okay.
Super Mario Maker 2. I saw the Nintendo Direct, or more specifically, I saw Al's live stream of the Nintendo Direct, and I am super excited for it. I want to see how the multiplayer works. I can't wait to customize some crazy levels. I can't wait to see my other friends' creations. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. Super Neptunia RPG. It's been forever since I played a Neptunia game. Definitely going to pick that up for the Switch when I can. Not sure if it's right away. The spin-off games of Neptunia, when it's not an RPG, they're kind of terrible. When their action games are kind of weak sauce, but when they're actual just regular RPGs, they're kind of simple, but they're still fun to play.
Right. Right.
And this one's a 2D RPG. The whole game is about a commentary on 2D games or something.
That you know what? Those games are so overlooked for their meta commentary.
I know they have some solid meta commentary when it gets there, but like I said, I see the turnoff. It's the cutesy character design.
That aren't the girls that aren't wearing much and blah blah blah.
Yeah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. But the characters, I think they're fun. They're enjoyable. If they weren't, I wouldn't be playing these games. Judgment or Judge Eyes, you already mentioned that. Obviously, I'm
Yeah.
a fan of Yakuza.
Yeah.
I want to go back to Kamurocho. I want to try out this new protagonist who seems to be more fast and nimble than Kiryu. Like he can do wall kicks and shit.
Right.
Samurai Showdown. Not gonna play.
Oh.
You forgot, didn't you?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You're like, okay, gotta get this game. Don't forget this game's coming out. Oh shit, you're
Samurai
right.
Showdown. You know what? I played Samurai Showdown back in '93.
I've played it when I was starting to get into SNK. Actually, way later than that. I was familiar with it, but but when I was in my SNK phase back in 2008, I decided to play through most of those games.
You want to know something? I have all of the Samurai Showdowns except Samurai Showdown 5 Special on my Switch.
Yeah, I was thinking about picking some Samurai Showdown games up, but I don't know which ones. I want to pick the best ones, and most people say it's either 2 or 5 Special. I've played through like the arcades of each of them, so I have vague memories on them. But I believe I played a lot of 5 Special.
I got all of them because I like them,
and I wouldn't mind getting those on the Switch because that'll be a fun thing to play if I'm in my friend's car and we're on a road trip or something.
Oh yeah, I played them on the road and they're great.
Oh yeah, I play Third Strike on the road. I could. Yeah, man, that's the beauty of the Switch. It could steal the PC gamers who only care about the small indie market.
But you know what's cool about it too is I have hotspot on my phone. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Oh, so you can basically, if you're on the road, you can basically do online battles.
I have 50 gig hotspot. Okay,
nice.
Playing about 2 hours of say Third Strike only eats up maybe a couple hundred megs.
Damn, I need to look into getting one from my phone because that sounds awesome. All right, next game on my list, Dragon Quest Builders 2.
Okay, not interested in that for me.
Okay, I played the first one, and despite some of its flaws, I did love the hell out of it. Dragon Quest Builders 2 looks like it's going to be the same, but they're going to much improve a lot of things. Like they're going to put a first-person mode in there, which is going to help a lot. Because your character is such a stubby, chibi little character, that every time I would like swing my sword at an enemy, I'm just like too far away. So hopefully that would address my problem there. Plus, it would be interesting to look at the stuff you created from a first-person camera view. I might pick this up on PS4. I've been leaning on the Switch, but I might pick it on PS4 just because I played the first game on PS4.
Right.
Right. The next game, I've never played this franchise. I guess this will be my entry. Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Oh fuck! I forgot about those two.
You
And
see what I mean?
I'm a Fire Emblem fan. I love those games. You gotta at least play Awakening.
I might sometime down the line, but I want to check out Three Houses. It looks like my cup of tea.
You'll like it. The Fire Emblem games have good stories and everything. Yeah, I freaking forgot about that. Okay, I have 5 goddamn games now.
All right.
Thanks, Billy.
Next one on my list, I almost forgot about this one, but it turns out it's actually going to be coming out August. At least that's what the release date on the Switch said. Astral Chain. That's the cyberpunk platform.
Okay, I'm not sure on that one. I think it looks awesome, but I'll wait till it comes out.
All right. I have a little more faith in Platinum because when it comes to most original IPs, they're really good. They've only had like a couple flubs, and they were based off of like licensed IPs.
That Ninja Turtles game from a couple years ago.
Yeah, that was soul crushing for me because I am a Ninja Turtles fan, and I did love those 16-bit games like Turtles in Time.
Right.
Even the Tournament Fighters game.
And they did a good job on that Transformers game too, though.
Yeah, Transformers Devastation. I think I still have that on my PS4.
I do too.
It's a little bit simplistic, but it was very fun. I loved
it. Yeah,
it.
You didn't need anything more. You just blow up other fucking Transformers and shit.
So I'm not expecting Astral Chain to be Bayonetta quality, but I do like this. I do prefer like futuristic cyberpunk looks over fantasy.
Right.
And I like this whole idea of you playing as 2 characters, and one of them kind of like transforms into other weapons, and kind of reminds me of like the weapon system in Soul Eater, and maybe a little bit of JoJo in there. So it just from the way it looks, it's pulling me in, and it's from Platinum Games. So like, how bad can it be, really?
Right.
One game I didn't put on my list. I'm on the fence, and I'm going to wait until reviews. But I really want this game to be good because I really love some of the earlier entries to this. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. I love the shit out of X-Men Legends. I liked Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I want those games to be just as good as those 2 entries.
Right.
But I don't know.
It's Team Ninja too, isn't it? Team Ninja?
It's Team Ninja.
Who is it? Yeah, Team Ninja? Okay.
It's not whoever developed the earlier games under Activision. And Team Ninja is a hit and miss bag.
Yeah, they are. They really are.
They've botched Ninja Gaiden 3, but they've also made Neo.
They also made DOA 5.
They made DOA 5. They made DOA 6, and both those games, gameplay-wise, are pretty sound. Like I said, them working on a Western comic IP property that's... like I said, I just have to wait and see the reviews because it was also a fun multiplayer experience too. Okay, next game I put on my list, and apparently it got delayed to September, so I kind of half-truthed what I said about my list. But the game was originally supposed to come out July.
Okay.
AI The Somnium Files, which is directed by Kotaro Uchikoshi. I've been following the development of this game via a YouTube channel with one of the side characters who is a virtual idol doing weird, wacky videos. Apparently, the latest video she uploaded by the time I record this is on this gameplay, which I haven't seen, but I'm going to get around to seeing it. But this brings up a problem about the whole too many good goddamn games to fail thing. Have you ever just... I never thought I would live and say, oh, thank God, I'm glad this game's delayed. Remember when delays used to be the most upsetting thing to a gamer?
No, I'm happy when certain games are delayed.
I breathe a sigh of relief. I'm like, oh, good, you delayed this. Now I can focus on this game. That's what most of the comments have been saying when I was looking up the news article for it. They're like, oh, thank God, I can get Fire Emblem Three Houses, or oh, thank God, I can actually get the money by then. It's crazy. Okay. The next thing on my list, apparently, I'm still waiting on a Switch port of Pillars of Eternity 2. They still have it there, but
I thought that was
Amazon.
coming out this month.
I thought it was too. I guess I got my information wrong. They just have it set to December 31st, 2019 on the Amazon site. So there is a port for it, but they haven't a release date announced. And the last thing on my list, I don't think I've seen a release date for this, but they said spring, but it's summertime. Cadence of Hyrule, the Crypta Necrodancer spinoff that
Okay,
takes place in the Zelda universe.
that'll be a
Which
good one.
I played a good amount of Crypta Necrodancer. I'm pretty spent on that game because the later missions are like part of bullshit higher difficulty. I'm just really not in the mood to stress myself out on a game that's already pretty challenging to begin with.
Right.
But I am looking forward to Cadence of Hyrule because the game looks like Link to the Past, but it still has the goofy like dance to the rhythm stuff. The animations are great. You can play as Cadence, you can play as Link and Zelda. There's probably more playable characters in that game. Who knows? Maybe Ganondorf could be playable. I'm
Who
personally
knows?
a bit excited. Yeah. I love how Nintendo is basically giving their games to like other developers to make these weird spin-off titles. And they have been mostly solid, including Mario Rabbids. I know you hate that game, but I can't help it. It's fun.
Yeah, I can't get over the Rapids. It's very superficial. I know, but still.
So yeah, that's just a list of games coming out before winter season.
But here's the thing: there's probably a bunch of games you did not mention, right?
Oh,
That
yeah.
appeal to other people, not you and I particularly.
You know what? In fact, I'm going to tell you, anyone who is listening, when you leave a comment, leave your list of games that you are excited for this year. You don't
And we
have to
won't
tell
judge
me
you or
this-
anything. If you
We're
like
not going to
FPS,
judge you. We're just going to tell you, oh, you got a big list too. You seem to be happy as a gamer.
mm-hmm. That's why there should be no crash. It won't happen because here's the other thing. All of these games too have little fandoms around them. They may not be the biggest fandoms.
No, but you'll find your audience. You'll find somebody who agrees with you.
Yeah, and look at some of these games. Some of these games, particularly the Yakuza games, is a good example. Their audience has gotten bigger in recent years.
Yeah, thanks to them pushing Yakuza 0 and making PC ports. I even gifted my friend a copy of Yakuza 0, and he loved the hell out of it.
And Kiwami came out recently too, right?
Kiwami and Kiwami 2.
Okay.
They skipped over 6. I think they want to do it chronologically on Steam.
Okay. And we're supposed to get the HD remasters of 3, 4, and 5 here, huh?
Yeah, I think they just released 4 in Japan. I don't know. I was initially excited for them. I'm kind of skeptic because it depends on how much control Sony's going to have with the localization. They might censor some content that really doesn't need to be censored. I hate the fact that I have to worry about that shit now.
I know. But
there's a new Sakura Wars game coming out. And I thought people would be excited. That excited turned into nervous skepticism because of this.
I mean, look. Let me say something real quick. The point you're making, and I'm going to kind of just jump off, not regard the censorship yet. Real quick, we'll go back to that. But you're making a good point. All of these fucking franchises, a lot of them that have been dormant, are coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, we're even getting a new Earthworm Jim, even though it's exclusive to some fucking probably fucking shovelware shit console. But what I'm saying is we're getting old dormant, I guess, dormant franchises back. And we're also getting really good quality indie games in general, new, fresh IPs.
Yeah, you don't need to depend on big AAA game developing anymore.
And why do people want to crash? To do what? What's the purpose of it? What would the purpose of a crash do? It would hurt it now because right now I think we're at one of the best moments in gaming.
Yeah, and in your older video, you referenced the comic book industry crash,
Oh yeah.
and you said that they're still recovering from it,
Yeah, I mean, look, the Marvel movies are fucking killing it, right?
right?
Endgame in particular. Okay? Regardless of what I think of those, because I'm not a big fan of MCU films, they're making a lot of money. No one can deny that. But what they're not doing though is that money is not generating new interest in comic books because they're still recovering from what happened in the '90s. If you want that shit to happen to video games, then be my guest. But I
Well,
don't want that shit happening to video games.
and they've been making some boneheaded decisions with their comics recently. I've been following a few guys on YouTube who read comics a lot, and it's not looking good.
Which Marvel?
Yeah,
Yeah, Marvel comics aren't very good right now. That's why I do get the Marvel Unlimited app and read classic stuff from the '80s. But regardless, that's beside the point. Um, but yeah, you don't want that happening to the video game industry.
no, it's a big dumb mistake. Trust me, that's not good. You just need to like
Well,
widen your palette. You just got to find the games because they're there, and they may not be as advertised as hard, but you'll find it. I mean, some YouTuber could recommend it to you, some YouTuber you like, and then you could go give it a shot. I mean, it's not that difficult.
and what's the what is called? Is it because of free to play? I mean, I'm not a fan of free to play shit myself, but there are still plenty traditional games out there that come complete, like The Messenger or Cuphead.
Well, those aren't free to play, but there are free to play games that are killing it right now. I don't give a shit about Fortnite, but that's doing fine.
Oh,
Uh,
Fortnite's a big franchise, but
Same with
but
Apex Legends.
I don't see. I think some of these people think that the game industry is totally going to go to that, and I don't think it is. I think there's always going to be a market for single player games. I mean, one of the most successful games in the last 2 years has been Breath of the Wild, and you can't get more single player than that.
No, you can't.
I mean, yeah, yes, it has DLC, but you don't need it. I bought the DLC because I
I
love that
bought the
game.
DLC, and I still have to do the things in order to get the motorcycle.
Oh yeah, I haven't gotten the motorcycle yet myself, and I'm about 120 hours in that game.
I haven't even fought Calamity Ganon yet.
I did beat it. I did beat the game.
I haven't yet. I wanted to do as
Okay.
much as I can first because it is a fun world to explore. I'll give them that much.
Yeah. But that's the thing. That's you can't get more single player than that. You don't need the DLC. You can get it and there's nothing wrong with it because I did it. But if you don't, that's fine too. What I'm saying is people who say this who think like Fortnite and all these games are taking over, or these games and services like Overwatch, for example, right?
Right.
Those games have their audiences and they're pretty popular, but there's not really a market for them. There's a market for them, but no, what I'm saying is there is a market for them, of course, because they're big popular games. What I mean is there's market for all the single player games as well too.
Yes.
I mean, look at Resident Evil 2 remake. That's single player. Devil May Cry 5 single player. There you go.
I got nothing else to add on to that.
No, I don't either.
Hmm.
But oh, I know. Before we finish up, we were supposed to do. I got to give a note real quick. We were supposed to do Trails in the Sky, but I
No,
couldn't beat
Trails
the
of
game
Cold
because
Steel.
Trails of Cold Stone. My bad. I hopefully will have it be before we record, and that'll be our next episode.
Yeah, I was gonna play the game that week, too, but I never got around to doing it because I was too busy focusing on Our World Has Ended. So, I was
Yeah,
actually kind of relieved because I wanted to play a little bit in order to get some familiarity and or to refresh because it has been like 4 years since I played that game.
yeah, yeah. And you did do a stream though, however, recently.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
like the first couple hours, and it was a fun stream too.
yeah. I need to. I'm going to try to finish it. Hopefully in the next 2 weeks or so, and we can get that show going. So, and I want to beat it before part 2 comes out.
Ooh, yeah. Well, I'm
Yeah.
I'm set for 3. I don't know if I'm gonna use my second playthroughs to if they have an import feature. But yeah, I'm just gonna jump to the third one. I'm
Right.
just doing it out of just basic need of supporting the publishers.
Right.
That's why I'm picking up those copies physically. But yeah, I think that's everything we got. I'm ready to wrap it up. It is almost time.
Yes, it is. So, where can people find you, good sir?
They can find me under the username Darkscream. I will post URLs will be posted below. You'll also find me on Twitter, where I would just use that to update most of my website. I barely use it for almost anything else, especially communicating with other people. Um, and yeah, those are the only two places where you can find me.
You can find me at youtube.com/MagusX1. And I've been posting some content there, here and there, so including these podcasts.
Yes, I am too. Am also posting content, though it's kind of coming to a slow. So, but I've been doing mostly streams and just vlogs on stuff that's on my mind. And yeah,
Yeah, sorry we don't have shit jokes like Ho Jared. I mean Pro Jared. So there you go.
okay.
I'm sorry, I have to do that.
All right, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. So with that, this is Dark Stream signing out.
And with that, guys, I get out.
Take care, everybody.